segment that I like to use for highlighting creatives. And we have a pretty impressive creative with us right now, Miss Christa Janine. How are you doing, Christa?
I am good. How are you?
I am going to be better by the end of this segment because you're going to help me out. Now, first of all, before we get into all of the specifics of how you're going to improve Javon's life, let us know a little bit about Christa Janine. Who are you?
So it's funny. I am a lot of different things. What most people know me as on social media is a yoga instructor and a fitness coach and a life coach. So that's kind of where like my online persona leans toward. But I'm also I have a bachelor's degree in screenwriting. I have a master's in production and a master's in journalism. So when I'm not like teaching yoga and helping people live better lives, I work in production. So I just finished up a year contract with Snapchat. So that was fun. And then prior to that, I worked on The Amazing Race. And prior to that, I worked at Telepictures. And prior to that, I worked at The View. And prior to that, I worked at Harpo. So a lot of prior twos. But right now, I'm kind of working on my own content and creating just creating content that's helping people live better lives, especially in this like time we're in. It's so weird, like between quarantine and coronavirus and protests and social injustice. It's just there's so much content to be created. So it's a great space to be if you're creative because you have a lot of different outlets you can kind of dive into. So the world's kind of like on fire, literally, and I'm just here to kind of put out some of those fires as best as I can with all the tools that I've kind of gained over the years.
And those have been some very impressive tools. How does one go from masters and screen productions and all of this stuff to a yoga mat? What was that journey for you?
You know, it's very interesting, and I talk about this openly all the time. But when I was younger, probably through all my adolescence, I would suffer from severe depression and like suicidal ideation. And one day, like right off campus, I went to school in Chicago at DePaul. Right off campus is a Core Power Yoga studio, and I just like walked in. I had seen it. People came out like super sweaty, and I've always been very much so into fitness. So then I ended up like taking a yoga class. I did their free week. I ended up doing my teacher training through them. And it literally helped me find so much grounding and clarity and like build that relationship with God, build that relationship with myself, and start to heal from a lot of my past trauma that I just refused to deal with. And I mean, I'm not going to act like it happened overnight. And like one day I woke up and everything was great. But it definitely was a journey that kind of started by me wanting a different type of workout, right? And then even now, I don't do as much yoga as I used to, but even in my other fitness, it's still that meditative state, that like really getting in tune with yourself and seeing where you are and figuring out how to push your limits both on and off the mat. And I think that is the biggest thing that we can all learn in this space is like, how do I live a better life and how can I push myself past my limits even when I don't want to?
That is exceptional. Are you still writing?
I write on and off. I don't write as much as I used to, but I am writing here and there. Not as much as I used to. I won't lie. Like I have a pilot episode for a show that everybody I've given it to loves it, but I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird space to be in because my cousin is actually a producer in Atlanta, and he's like, "When are we making this movie?" And I got a actor, director friend in Chicago. It's like we can do a table read whenever you want to. So I think I'm the hold up on that now, just because there's a lot of political commentary in it. And when I originally wrote it, like some of the stuff is kind of like antiquated at this point. So I need to take like a step back and be like, okay, it's time to rewrite this. And it's tweaks, right? It's not even like a complete rewrite, but yeah, I've just kind of been like skirting away from it. But then I write blogs. I partner with a lot of different companies, so I write blogs for some of the companies. I write my own blog, and then I have like what I like to call my mini blog on Instagram, where I kind of just give people insight on yoga and their lives and like how to live better in this space that we're in, because it's so hard to find that leveling off point. And I think we all so desperately need it, but none of us really know what to do to find it.
you have a virtual studio and you're doing online classes.
Yep.
It starts with, what is it? HIIT. Am I close to it?
Yeah, hit yoga.
So tell me about the different classes that you have, including HIIT yoga.
Yes. Okay. So HIIT yoga is a combination of vinyasa, power yoga flow. So it's like breath to movement, like flowing through traditional yoga postures. Then once we do that as the warm up, then we go into actual HIIT interval training. So high interval training is what HIIT is, or high intensity interval training. Okay. For anybody who's actually knows what it is and wants to correct me. So we do 4 rounds of HIIT, and then after that we do a yoga flow to cool down. So it's a nice combo of like 2 cardiovascular workouts that aren't often merged together in this type of way. And it's, I want to say created it myself, but yeah, because I like HIIT and I like yoga, and I have never seen them quite together. Even in yoga sculpt, which is something a lot of people do traditionally to add weights into their yoga practice, it's not quite set up and formatted in that way. So it's a lot of fun too. Great music, like a lot of 90s R&B, a lot of hip hop. So I love that class. And then another class we do is meditation and flow. So with the meditation and flow, half the class is a regular yoga flow, and then half of the class is a 30-minute meditation where we take that deep dive, like I said, into these questions, into ourselves, journaling things that need to be journaled, and just really taking that time to like breathe in and see where we are. And then I have a beginner yoga class for people who are new to yoga, who haven't quite, practiced before, who don't really know what, when, how to like move their bodies in this way. And then I have an intermediate flow, which is like an advanced yoga flow where you're dripping in sweat by the end of it. You're moving, you're doing like tricep push-ups half the class. What is known in the yoga world is like a chaturanga dadasana, but it's a tricep push-up.
You said a tri-9 and a da-da-da?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Chaturanga.
Chaturanga.
Dandasana. Oh, asana. Dandasana.
Good Lord. So okay. I gotta learn a whole new language.
It's high to low plank. High plank, low plank. That's all you gotta know.
Got you. I was gonna get them words, but I'll get them next time. I'll learn the language of yoga. So for me, as somebody that is a beginner with 2 bad knees, it is best to start off slow and then work your way up.
Yes, absolutely. I would definitely recommend a beginner class for somebody who is recovering from an injury. Because I had knee surgery. I completely severed my ACL and sprained both meniscus on my left knee. So it's like that process to just get yourself back moving and flowing and like figuring out life. It's a process, and I think we have to give ourselves the time and space to heal, but still move. So like beginner classes, I always offer modifications. If you let me know what your injuries are, I can help you navigate around those injuries, just because I do have a little bit of anatomy training and a lot of yoga training, so I know how to maneuver things in such a way so you're not injuring yourself further, but you can also do the practice and still grow in that strength. But yeah, I tell people all the time, it's like yoga is literally for everybody. If you are breathing and have a pulse, you can definitely do yoga. You just have to find the right instructor who can work with you, who has that knowledge, who has that background, and who has the patience, really. Because it does take a little bit of time to like figure out how to help people like move in their body, because our bodies are all different and there's not one size fits all for any of this. So yeah, I always encourage people, connect with a strong yoga instructor and like create a plan, but never be afraid to do yoga. Like yoga is for everyone. Fitness is for everyone.
Yep, and I'm looking forward to actually getting involved with it and doing it. I'm gonna attend your next virtual session, and I'm gonna try to sweat as much of this off as I can in that one class, because I believe that yoga, you can lose like 5 pounds per session, right? Is that the going rate? Ish.
Yeah, no, I don't know who quite gave you that stat, but yeah. So let's not go with Google on that one. Just not this one. I Google everything else, but I think maybe this one. Let's not do it. You will sweat a lot, and you will lose water weight. And a lot of people tone up when they first start doing yoga because you're moving your body in a way that you don't normally move it, right? Like it's different from HIIT. It's different from any other strength training programs you would do. It's different from any other cardiovascular training you'll do. Like, it's a very specific type of movement in your body. So you do strengthen and tone. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Like, when I first started yoga, I was already in pretty good shape, but I lost like 20 pounds in 2 months because I was doing so much yoga, because I was in training. I was in yoga teacher training, but it's just my body had to hold itself in a way it never had to before. So I was literally working everything at the same time. It was amazing.
I look forward to it. For those who want to join me in your virtual class, how do we get to it? Tell us more about it.
So you can either go to ChristaJanineFit.com, and all of my classes are there. You can book a class online, or we have a very special event coming up. I'm teaming up with one of my fellow awesome yogis with One Love Movement on Friday for a Breonna Taylor Yoga for Justice event. So it's going to be a yoga flow. There's going to be a meditation, and then we're going to have people sign petitions for Breonna Taylor, send emails from an already pre-drafted email if they want to donate to various funds that we have found, rather. We don't have, but that we found that are connected to ways to help in the situation, because it's not just about yoga for me, and it's not just about fitness. It's about, like I said, it's about holistic living, right? And holistically, you can't live your fullest life with injustice and inequality in the world. So I know that I am able to teach a great yoga class, and the same with my friend who I'm teaching with. And we were blessed with the opportunity to really get people involved and educate them and show them how they can help on a very grassroots level, and have a yoga class in the meantime. So that's something we're doing this Friday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're interested in that, you can come to my Instagram page, which is at Christa Janine, or you can go to One Love Movement's Instagram as well. But I have the link on my page. They have the link as well. And just to tell you how to RSVP for the event, but it is this Friday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, and we want as many people as we can get to come. We already have about 20 people RSVP'd, which is great considering how quickly we put it together. But yeah, so I mean, we're trying to make a difference in the world and actually make it a better place through yoga, which is what yoga essentially is supposed to be for. So the more people that come, the better. The more people that keep Breonna Taylor's name in their mouth and on their social media page, because it's just sad, and it's not right, and it's ridiculous at this point that these men have not been arrested for their incompetence, and that led to someone's murder.
So much going on in the world, and I'm glad that you're helping to kind of bring some clarity of thought and clarity of body and clarity of mind to all of it. Christa, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
It was, and I look forward to more people learning about you. Again, go to @Christa Janine. That's on Instagram, and join me in her virtual studio. Let's get fit together. Thank you, Christa.